Hi everyone, so I want to do a quick, this is going to be quick, we'll see. It's going to be a makeup date regardless. Basically, this is a video where I do almost weekly, if not every other week or so. We basically talk about the ins and outs of my makeup collection and just kind of other rambling thoughts. It's just kind of my makeup space, so welcome in. Might be a long one, so hopefully you'll enjoy what I have to share. So first, let's talk about the outs. I actually have a decent amount here. So, and I actually have kind of some interesting movement in my collection. So let's first talk about something I'm very excited to have out of my collection is this vitamin E oil. I've been working on this since like earlier this year. But yeah, this didn't take very long for me to get through. I actually put on a different pump. It came with like a dropper, and but this pump would dispense a lot more, and I was using this on my body, so it was okay that I was using a little bit more. But yeah, oils are definitely finicky to work with. I think my body really likes it, so I'll probably end up back with some sort of oil in the future. But yeah, this was just kind of like a one that I found at my grocery store. Honestly, it wasn't really anything fancy, and it seemed to do the trick. And I deal with dry skin on and off, so it honestly sometimes do prescription stuff on it at this point, but I feel like it keeps it in check. All right, and then this is kind of exciting. So I'm moving both of this packaging out of my collection. This is the YSL kind of like gold flecked gold whatever primer. It has like little gold flecks in it. And then this is the St. Jane kind of SPF primer. I don't love just primers on their own, like if they have no other function than like smoothing. It like makes no sense to me. This one was smoothing and had SPF in it, so I like that. But I decided to mix them together like I typically franken stuff. I was getting to the point where this one was getting kind of splurty, where it's like, you squeeze it out and there's a little bit air bubble, and then you have to like keep shaking it out and again, and that's just the point where I'm like, I am ready to decant this. So went ahead and did this. I'm about to go travel, and so I ended up making this concoction of like really random stuff. It was first this, and then I put in some SPF powder that I have, and then I also mixed this in, and then I also scraped in some highlighter and bronzer that I don't use on their own, but just to kind of give it a little bit of a tint. So this actually turns out to be pretty nice. It's kind of a moussey texture, just I think given the amount of powder I have in it, but it pretty much blends out to my skin tone pretty much clear, which I appreciate, because I think it could very easily leave a white cast. But yeah, it's crazy. This marks the last like large tube. I still have like one that I have in my purse, but from the sun safety kit from Sephora this year, this is the last one. I all the packaging is out. I mean, I'm still using this last little bit for my trip, but otherwise it should be gone by the end of the summer. And then this one, I'm just glad I was able to figure out a way to use it, kind of an unconventional way from how I usually use it. But yeah, it's kind of definitely a good idea for me, and it makes me think a little bit more about how I want to be using my SPF, my powder SPF, because I only have been mixing it in with my loose powder right now. So even my loose powder has a little bit of SPF in it, which is nice. But at the same time, like, can I be utilizing that to maybe mix into like moisturizers or, other things that I'm maybe not utilizing as much, to maybe just make it as like an SPF moisturizer, SPF primer. So I don't know, something to think about for me and my collection. The other thing that is moving out is this packaging for the CVS SPF 50 Clear Zinc Lotion. I actually bought like 4 of these because I was like, wow, it seems amazing. Clear zinc, it's like actually a mix of zinc and a chemical sunscreen. But it allows it to be clear zinc and allows it to be SPF 50 pretty much. I'm not super well versed in terms of the science behind SPF, but I know that it's still quite effective. So, I mean, as long as you're doing the other things right in terms of like staying in the shade when you're supposed to, and like not going outside when it's like the heat of day, and like making sure you hydrate and like all that stuff that's good for you in the summer. So basically, I got these soft tube pumps. I've been talking about these all the time, and I love the packaging of these, but I got like unbranded ones. Like I guess they're probably just samples for, for mass production. But basically, there was a company online. I don't think it's a scam company, but it definitely was like, this is odd for you guys to carry this, but I'll take it. So it definitely was a little bit of a mess to fill, but they're in soft tube pumps now and a lot smaller than the original. I don't know how many ounces, 4 ounces. Like this tube is too big to bring on the airplane. But these I can fit onto, I can bring onto a carry-on, no problem. So yeah, decanted. And I also filled one up for my body moisturizer as well. So yeah, it was definitely a bit of a hassle to fill. So that's the thing with me, like moving around packaging, but I'm really glad to have some technically refillable bottles now. And yeah, just to kind of have some experience behind like filling these and getting to use them and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited about this. Yeah, I am stoked. So I wish that there was a few things I think on this packaging, if it was technically supposed to be refillable, I wish could improve, but I think I'll wait until there may be a more mass market option for me to be like, these are my thoughts. But for now, I'm bringing these two on the trip with me for my family, just so that I can like throw them in different bags rather than like have one tube and be like, where is the sunscreen? Because we all know that issue when it comes to a family. It's like, where is the sunscreen? And you need literally a bottle of sunscreen in every corner of the house, in every bag, in every pocket, just to make sure you're covered. So this is my solution for my trip, to have a few different bottles. So that is that. So those are my kind of outs and ins. I don't know, just like movement in my collection. Yeah, let me just double check there's nothing else crazy in here. Okay. So now I have a few ins. I made an order on Glambot in July, end of July, and it just came in. I think they were just like kind of stalling in terms of fulfilling my order. But actually, one of the things I don't have here, the main reason why I ordered it was that I've been eyeing a mermaid like themed brush for my daughter. She loves mermaids, and it was on sale on Glambot, so I just kind of picked up a few other things along with it, which I probably shouldn't have, but I did it. So probably the most boring thing is just this. Let's see how many ounces it is. 1.7 ounces of this body moisturizer. I don't know, I'm kind of on the cusp of like moving around body moisturizer, so I was like, I'll just try something different. And plus sometimes I might need something for like when I go swimming or something like that. So I was like, maybe something smaller. I don't really need this, but I got it. And then I did see not a sample, but kind of like the small size of the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, and I've always been really interested in this. I know that this is older, given that it comes from Glambot and like someone else has owned this previously, so it's definitely been swatched. It actually didn't look that swatched, but I went ahead and swatched it when I got it just earlier today. And it's a really, really nice like formula. I've tried the e.l.f. one before, and this one definitely has a nicer scent. It's a very Asian scent. It's giving me like jasmine tea, something Asian florally. I'm not very well versed on my Asian scents, but it's giving me Asian scent. But yes, Tatcha, I believe, is a Japanese brand, so that makes sense. And if anything, just the packaging is really cute, and I can see myself using this kind of like shallow, like wide based pan for something else very, very easily in terms of like cream bronzer, cream blush. And there's 7 grams in this, so this is definitely quite generous. I'm not, like I mentioned before, I'm not one to use primers for the sake of just blurring, right? But I see myself attacking this and like mixing it in with my SPF powder and like making it a SPF silk canvas primer. Is that weird? I really don't want to, it's just such beautiful packaging. I keep touching it. I don't want to deface it like that, I think, right away. So I might allow myself to use it for about a month the way it is. But yeah, I have one in my collection now. And then the last 2 things that are for me is this refill of a Anastasia eyeshadow that I got so long. This is such a throwback for me. Honestly, it's such a beautiful color. This is in the shade Gem. I think I actually still have my original pan, like the actual pan, because I used up the shadow a long time ago. But yeah, it's just a very beautiful, it's quite basic, basic champagne kind of color here, but it's beautiful, and I am so excited to have it back in my collection again. It also came with this really like spiffy single plastic container. I don't know if this is what the Anastasia things come in, but honestly, I'm keeping this. I could see myself using this for travel, like just the single. So I could very well just like, I could see myself pressing a single together and like split pan of you know, two shades, like a darker shade and a lighter shade, and then bring that with me on the trip. So just to save some space. Right now I have my little travel bag in front of me. I right now have this little duo, so I could see myself just like pressing these two together like a split pan and then putting it in this little container. Ideas. And the last thing I got, I was very shocked to see this on the Glambot site, but they had a MAC Hot and Naughty mascara. This is in brown. This is not in their waterproof formula, which I prefer waterproof formulas. I'm still kind of getting into tubing mascaras, but like, you know, something in that realm of like, it's is somewhat waterproof and like can withstand some water, kind of water resistant, I guess. But yeah, this is giving me very strong, like a very strong scent, very similar to the one that I got from another MAC mascara. It's like very, very fragrance. I don't remember having the same issue with a few other tubes I had, the waterproof kind, but I don't know if I can actually wear this on my lashes. Like it's like making me sick actually. But like I do with my other one, I clean off the wand. So I don't know. This might not have been worth the purchase, like given it was probably around I think 11 or $12, maybe discounted to like, I don't know, $8. And if I'm not going to use this for what it is, like that kind of sucks. But we'll see. I mean, I love this component so much in terms of the way that it's kind of like a two-part component that this part also opens up like that. And it is basically like if you're watching my video for the first time, never seen this before, but I've explained in other videos where this is essentially a wiper in itself and it wipes away like a ton of product. Like look at all that bulk on there, right? And it basically really cleans off a lot of the wand. They say it's for lengthening, but for me, it's just like that's how I like my mascaras, is to be super duper cleaned off. Now this is gonna make a mess. I should probably get a napkin, which I don't have on me. So this will be for future Jamie to clean up. Good luck. Oh, gross. Okay. Future Jamie, good luck with that. So those are my ins and outs of my collection this month. A few other thoughts, because I've actually packed my travel bag kind of a week in advance. I've really started to dabble. It's allowed me to actually pull in new products into my everyday rotation for at least this week before I leave, because I rolled in some things for a project, and so I'm like, I actually need to use those. And then some of my main stuff ended up in this travel bag, which I just don't feel like touching now that it's in a bag, and don't want to like mess with like what I've planned. So even things as simple as like my eyelash curler, I put my main one into my travel bag, and then I pulled out my backup one, which is this Japanesque one. Unfortunately, Japanesque is no longer a brand, but it was just one that they had at the drugstore. I believe they started selling stuff at the drugstore, and it's a little cheap looking, and I was like, this is my backup one, I might as well pull it out and use it and see how I like it. And honestly, the shape looks really similar. If you saw the Lipstick Lesbians recent video, they talked about eyelash curler shapes, but yeah, they matter. And honestly, they look really similar, but for some reason, this one is a deeper curve, and it doesn't perform very well on my eyelashes. So it is my birthday month. Part of me is like, should I finally splurge on a nice eyelash curler? I've had this Tweezer Man one for years, and I love it. But I kind of want to try something different, and so I'm very much looking at like Shomura, Shiseido, like that brand, to maybe treat myself for my birthday. So yeah, that might be something that I'll think about for a purchase. Again, if you don't know, in my Project Lip Lab or my beauty bank, I've challenged myself to purchase 3 or less items during the month. And if I accomplish that, then I actually give myself an extra $25 credit towards my Lip Lab fund. It's just to keep myself low on my purchases. I know in a few other videos I was talking about my Glambot order and like would I count these against my beauty bank, but because I made the order in July before I really committed to this under 3 item idea, I think I'm gonna give myself an out. I'm gonna mark these as coming into my collection and like you know, take off, like count these items against myself and like give them the value you know, that they deserve. I feel like I probably will only count, I think I'll only count these 3. Like I actually will see myself using these. This one I'm really only got for the component. So I won't actually be using it. So for that reason, I don't think I'm counting this one against myself. So this is already 3, but I think as a birthday gift to myself, instead of, you know, like being like spending spree, I'm actually going to null and void those items. Like I'll still count them against my beauty bank for what they are, but they won't count towards the 3 that, you know, that will allow me to have the credit or not. Does that make sense? Does it ever? In my head, it does. All that to say, I have not purchased anything this month so far against my beauty bank because I'm not counting these towards it, even though these just came into my collection this month. But I thought about it and purchased them last month. This is one of those things where I'm like, my beauty bank, my rules kind of card, but hopefully you guys will be understanding and won't fault me too much for that one. So I'm giving myself the out for that. That is my birthday present to myself, is that I can maybe potentially still get that $25 credit. Like I'm really going for it now that I have kind of a goal in mind. But yes, let's say I am potentially thinking either sometime this month, or maybe it'll just be in the future month that I'll just count it as a purchase, as maybe pick up a nicer eyelash curler and upgrade the one I have. I love it very much. It's lived a good life, but it's starting to do the thing where it's like rusting on the in the, what is it called, this little mechanism here, the hinge, I guess. Starting to rust there a little bit, and inside the pad as well I can see it rusting. So I have to say, I think it's very close to retirement. But yes, in terms of like other things that I'm pulling in some things that I typically don't use in my collection, just because I put a lot of it away in my little travel bag. This is out and available for me to use on my makeup counter, but for some reason I'm just reaching for other things, which is good. So it's kind of a week, a little bit like of a week off from my typical products, which has been nice. But then when I'm on my trip, I'll have the products I'm very used to using, and I think, honestly, don't think that's a bad idea for myself. So yeah, so that's pretty much all the thoughts I have right now. I'm sure I have thought of other things I wanted to share with you guys, but you know what? That's what comes to mind right now, and that's what I'm going to share. So I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.